Yeah, hello everyone. So welcome and thank you for joining this one of the critically important session. Today we are not just talking about an issue that global health crisis that touches every single person, from the child preparing for their examination to the top professionals in the boardroom. If you are here, so this one, so you are either experiencing this stress or you love someone who is, and this is a safe space. And my only goal is to give you clarity and practical steps. So I will give you, different kind of statistics. So let's begin with a hard number, the truth. We often ignore research from the World Health Organization, WHO, and other bodies that confirm that over 1 billion people are currently living with a mental health issue or mental health disorder. Think about that. One in every 8 people on this planet. This is not a minority problem, it's a human problem. If I talk about the Indian context, the situation is equally stark and very surprising. Reports suggest as many as 15% of the adult population needs active intervention. And yet, how many are actually getting help? That's a matter of concern. Very few, very few. But why? Because most people are not even aware that what they are feeling. And that constant low grade anxiety, that perpetual exhaustion, it's a mental health issue, not just a bad mood. So it's the unacknowledged stress, because the stress we don't acknowledge that, and that is most dangerous. You feel a persistent headache, you attribute to screen time, you can't sleep, you blame the coffee, you are irritable with your family, right? Sometimes, and you blame office. All of us will do that, but these are not isolated events. They are signals, signals of a mind which is under siege. Nobody sees that. This is our present state of mind: reactive mind, perpetuality, exhausted, and utterly isolated also sometimes. So let's look at the ordered professionals first. Especially in the corporate sector, the biggest culprit is the destruction of the work life boundary. Many of us agree to that. We have moved from the working from home to living at work. The laptop is always open, the notification ping at 10 p.m., and we are expected to be always on. And one example I will give, which you can all relate: the Sunday night email. Think about this. You are having a dinner with your family, maybe me also, the case of me also, on a Sunday, and your boss email pops up. The email can wait, but the stress response cannot. So your brain immediately switches into work crisis mode. That one email has stolen your precious family time, and it triggers a stress response that lasts for hours. This constant availability, driven by fear of missing out or fear of falling behind is the primary source of the modern professionals for mental stress. This result is burnout, not just fatigue. And the fatigue is solved by rest, but burnout is solved by a fundamental change in lifestyle and perspective. Right? So now if I talk about our children, the pressure they face, that is immense pressure, and has evolved dramatically. It's no longer just about passing on the examination. All of you might have agreed to this statement. It's about peer pressure, which is amplified by social media, and more critically, parental pressure and unrealistic expectations, which we do from our children. If I want to give example of this, you all might have heard and experienced about the overseas dream. In many families, the child is seen as a project. They must get into a top college. They must study abroad in UK or in Canada. This expectation is a suffocating weight. Imagine a 16-year-old carrying the financial sacrifice and emotional dreams of an entire family. So their self-worth is tired, or their self-worth is tied entirely to a rank or entirely to a score, not to their inherent value as a person. So that's the matter of concern for them, concern for us. So this is why we see mental health issues increasing so rapidly in adolescence. Now, I will tell you some research findings about the suicides that are happening nowadays. And this pressure has a tragic outcome. You might be surprised to hear that. Everybody knows the mental health crisis. It is directly responsible for a rise in suicide rates globally. Our National Crime Records Bureau, NCRB, it reports in India, it's a painful reminder for me, for you, for your family, for the society. You know, over 1,71,000 suicides were reported in 2023 only. 1,71,000 suicides. Can you imagine that? Have you realized that? What's most heartbreaking is that the majority, 71% of all suicides, are in productive age groups, and those below the age of 44. And this is not just a statistic, it's a social emergency, needs to be addressed very soon. Urgent pain of the society. We are losing our future. And we are losing our future to invisible mental wounds that we have. So I will now give you some real life relatable examples. A 32-year-old IT employee from Bangalore, he fainted during work because his body could not handle the hidden stress he was carrying silently. A 14-year-old girl in Delhi secured 92% last year but dropped marks this year due to silent anxiety and fear of disappointing her parents. You all can relate in your atmosphere, in your environment, in your friend circle, and in your society, maybe. And this is not about the professionals and children. Now, a mother in Mumbai cried in the kitchen every night, not because she is weak, but because she is emotionally exhausted. And an elderly parents in Odisha felt deep loneliness but never said because he didn't want to disturb his children abroad. And many of us know that nowadays many elderly parents, they are living in India a lonely life, and their children After higher educations, for job, they leave India and living in abroad. And their parents waiting here in compulsion for their child to return to India when they need them most. So this is happening. You can relate is that. So this is the emotional reality we don't talk about. We never talk about. And now I will give another statistics. WHO says every 40 seconds, my dear friends, every 40 seconds only, one person dies by suicide worldwide. Every 40 seconds, one person dies. And if I talk about global statistics, in Japan, student suicides is at a 50-year high. And in USA, highest suicide rate ever recorded. And in UK, the loneliness and economic pressure added to that. So it increases self-harm. And I believe everybody means what self-harm is. And South Korea, if I talk about, so among highest suicide rates in the world, South Korea is undergoing. And again, some real cases I may present here. So a 16-year-old in Kota wrote, I can't breathe emotionally. A successful CEO in Gurgaon went into silent depression and no one around him noticed. A UK student struggled alone in a room for months before losing hope. A mother in Kerala lost herself because she believed she was not good enough. So are not these statistics hurting us? Are not these statistics, these figures, giving us pain? It gives pain to the society. These are not weak people. See, all those examples I gave, they are not weak. They are not at all weak. These people are fighting emotional battles alone. And this emotional storm does not target one age group. So it affects everyone, but in different ways. It affects you, it affects me, it affects my child, it affects my family, sometimes in our relatives. We can realize that, and some don't realize also, because some are known to us, the problems. We are aware of the problems, and some problems we are not aware of them. So let's understand deeply about that. So if I talk about, I will tell the details now. So if I talk about children, that is 6 to 12 years. Children today, they face enormous pressure at an age when they should be exploring, playing, and growing freely. So why that is happening? So that is school pressure, maybe. So what is happening in school? The students undergo heavy syllabus, long hours of school, class, homework, and the fear of scoring well. Many children wake up with stomach pain or headache out of anxiety. This is anxious children that we see in front of them, but we think they are sick. But this is not sickness. This is anxiety. Fear of teachers. That's the problem of students nowadays also. Some children, they feel judged, shouted at, or compared. And judged and compared, these two are regular issues of the children nowadays. But we don't address that. We as parents, we as teachers, we don't address that. So they develop a school fear. And some students, they don't want to go to school. not because they are weak, but because they lack emotional tools. We don't make them emotionally literate. So, one example I will give you here, day before yesterday, maybe around 4:45 and 5 p.m., one call came, phone call. So, and I picked the call. And when I heard from that side, she was a mother of a child, and she was finding me since 1 year because my phone number was changed. So I can show you the call record also here. It is there. And she was so much worried for her children because her children needed help. Her child needed help 1 year back about the emotional issues in the school, in the society, everywhere. But it went unaddressed. And finally, after 1 year, that child is suffering from mental health issues, a minor emotional well being, which is ignored at that time before 1 year, has risen as a mental health issue now after 1 year. And I heard that and I was got surprised to listen that that child now don't want to go to school because he or she, I keep it anonymous, because he or she is afraid of going to school. That's what the same example I told. Judged, shouted at, compared, and they develop, or he developed, she developed school fear, not because he or she is weak, because they lack emotional tools and they lack emotional support. And one more problem nowadays for children, there is a screen overload kind of thing is there. So excessive mobile or tablet use that affects the attention span. Attention span is a word which how much time, till how much time, or the duration for how much time we can stay focused. So don't you find, as a parent or as a guardian, your children is lacking that nowadays, or the attention your child was keeping before, now that attention span has been reduced, and this is due to screen overload. It may be mobile phone overload, it may be laptop, it may be any other kind of screens also. And that one, sorry, so sleep overload also. I mean, some student, they sleep for longer time, and some student, they lack sleeping. They don't sleep for a needed duration. And another problem is there, learning problem, or learning uh, with focus. So that lacks nowadays in children, and we as a parent are worried for that. But what steps are we taking for that? And emotional development, that is also lacking in our children. And emotional development, if I speak about that, this emotional development, nobody cares for. Whenever, as a, I mean, emotional intelligence, or maybe emotional support you want to give to the children, even a teacher who wants to give emotional support to the children, either the school timetable that does not allow, or the parents don't think that this is necessary for their children. Only study or passing scores or high scoring examination results, that is important for the children, but they ignore this emotional support, emotional wellness of their children, because they themselves are not aware of that, and they are also harming their emotional wellness. They are also the parents. They are also harming or keeping their emotional wellness at stake. So, how if the parents are not aware of that emotional wellness and what emotional wellness can do for their children, wonders for them and their children, how they will address that one. So they need to be addressed, they need to be aware of that also. And there should be somebody or somebody in the family, somebody in the society who needs to come and start this, breaking the chain of emotional clutters and helping in the family. A head should be there who helps other family members in emotional wellness. So that is needed actually. So we will talk about the solutions in the part 2 of the video. This video is the part 1 video where we are just getting aware of the mental health issues, the statistics, and why it is in different groups. So now let us come to teenagers. Teen, 13 to 19, that is teenage. So teenagers are emotionally vulnerable because they are forming identity and self-worth. So identity, that is in the teenage, main one point to focus is body image issues. So what is body image issue? So social media that creates unrealistic beauty standards, because our students, our teenagers, they go, they see, they watch social media like Instagram, Facebooks, maybe YouTube, and nowadays other channels are also there. They go and watch and they are involved in that. And there, what happens? So, social media creates unrealistic beauty standards. So, they present some model nowadays, artificial intelligence has also come. So, they represent an unrealistic beauty, right? So our teens, they feel I'm not good looking enough as that model is looking. So they compare themselves with that model. So when they compare themselves with the model and they feel that they are not as good looking as that model, so this kills their self-esteem. And it happens in our common people, in adult also this happens. But children are, or the teens, they are more likely to suffer from this body image issues. And this kills their self-esteem. And when their self-esteem is reduced or killed, they gradually come under mental pressure or stress. And stress, I talk about the mental pressure, slight or a limited mental pressure or the stress is the beginning of mental health issues. The stress, if continues for a longer duration and for long, then it will transform as a mental health disorder, which is a very problematic disease, needs to be urgently addressed. And what happens? Social, I talk body image issues, then let us talk about social media comparison. Constant comparison with influencers. There are many influencers in the social media. There are toppers, they talk in the social media, or peers, the friends, they cause anxiety, jealousy, and inferiority complex that is being developed in a teen. 13 to 19 is the most, vulnerable or sensitive age group who may suffer from these social media comparisons, body image issues. And one more is peer judgment. Peer judgment is nowadays it is happening in the schools. They fear of being left out in the peers, in the friend circle, or they feel being judged when they enter into the friend circle. They feel being judged, or they feel mocked at, or throwing a joke like bullying kind of things or ragging kind of things. Many students in their graduations or engineering, medical, whatever they are studying. So they face this bullying kind of things, bullying. So which is a very major issue nowadays. So that uh, hurts them. Many teens pretend to be happy, but they break inside. But we can't see that. And this is children. I talked how they are facing problem, and now I just discussed about teens. Now, young adults and professionals. So this group, young adults and professionals, this is group which suffers silently because society expects them to handle everything because they are a bit grown up now and more expectations will be there. So how does it happen? So let us first talk about corporate stress and burnout. So in corporate sectors nowadays, there are long working hours, deadlines are there, competition, performance, and fear of losing jobs. So these all may be combinedly or in separate cases. They drain them mentally. They drain the professional mentally. Many professionals live in constant fight or flight mode. So either they fight or they escape. So work-life imbalance is another major issue nowadays. So they are unable to give time to their family. They work long hours, so unable to give time to their family. And they are unable to give time to the health and themselves. And if I talk about this one, giving time to the family and giving time to health, these two are very, very, most important part, but it is absent, completely absent in the professionals. And health, if I talk, then many of professionals I discussed, maybe my clients or maybe my friends also, they say, you might be relating to this also, those who are watching this now, if you talk about why don't you do some exercises in the morning, so they say I don't have time to do exercise, I don't have time to do exercise. So this really is a major concern, and people or the professionals who are not suffered from health issues, they don't go for the exercises and they don't give priority to health. So do you think, my dear friends, maybe professionals watching this or well wishers of my dear professionals, maybe they are here, or children of the professionals, maybe they are here, who are working for long hours, don't you think those long working professionals or hard working professionals who are under stress always, don't you think they need to give priority to their health more than anyone else? But they are saying, I don't have time. But my dear friends, if I will say health is the biggest investment, there is no such investment like health. You can do at least a 15 to 20 minutes exercise, maybe rigorous, maybe moderate, every day without fail will make you stress free, because exercise immediately it improves testosterone and reduces cortisol, and it will make you come out of the stress. So if you do it regularly, you will feel that. And these solutions, how to do that, how to manage that, I will talk in my next video, because this video is all about what is happening in the world and in what is happening in all age groups. So just to aware you, this is an awareness kind of video that is there. In the next video, I will come with the solutions, how to handle that. What is your present state and what is your desired state, what you want to be, like in emotional health or mental health, then I will tell you to how to bridge the gap. So now again, let us come back to work-life balance. So they are the professionals, they are unable to give time to their family, to the health and themselves. So they look normal on the outside, but they carry internal chaos. Their mind is completely unrest inside. And one more important thing is there financial pressure that we all face, the EMIs, rent, responsibilities, all combined, EMIs, rent, and responsibilities, all combined, that create a mental exhaustion, mentally tired, even if they look successful from outside. Many professionals, they look successful from outside, but they are mentally tired from insides. So now, three groups I have discussed: children, then teens, then professionals, and young adults. Now, let us come to parents. So, parents carry emotional responsibilities heavier than we imagine. Do you agree with that? Yes. Why? Let's discuss. It is guilt and self judgment. Number one. How sometimes they feel, our parents, they feel, if many parents are also watching here, I am also a parent, many other parents are also there. So they feel, am I doing enough for my child? Whatever I'm doing for my child, is that sufficient? Or do I need to do something extra? Then this kind of thought process that is going in our mind, this creates emotional pressure which is unseen by others. Nobody can see that. What a parent thinks in his or her mind about his or her children, nobody can see that. Even you can't see in other parents, and other parents can't see in you. And there is no time for self care for the parents. Agreed? Guilt and self judgment. Number one. And another is no time for self care. They give everything to the children, everything to the family, leaving nothing for themselves. Over months and years, when they go on doing this giving everything to the children and family, leaving nothing for themselves, this turns into emotional exhaustion. They exhaust, they get tired emotionally, mentally. And if this is not addressed in time, then it may create problem. And then one more, relationship strain. The parenting stress often disturbs marriages or communication, increasing emotional distance sometimes. So, how many of you have experienced when you come back to home, you entered into the home, and your children, your parents, or the family members, they don't share each other's feelings. They don't sit together and sharing each other's feelings. Everybody is busy in their own work till they sleep. So this kind of thing, they increase emotional distance. And when this is a small example I gave, sometimes what happens, so when this kind of things is continuing in the family, suppose someday some big events happen in anybody's life, any family member's life, so he or she will feel reluctant to share the emotion with others because he or she is not habituated to share small emotional feelings and maybe happiness, maybe sadness, anything I'm talking about. So there is not a culture of sharing emotions in that family. So do you think you or your family members will share feelings when it is needed most to share? I think definitely not. So don't you think it is needed? So this is about parents. Now let us come to our parents, senior citizens. I am talking about senior citizens, our elders. So they face a silent emotional battle that we often overlook. And you might have observed this one. So they face senior citizens, they face loneliness. You might have seen in the society, you might have seen in your maybe relatives, in family, distant relatives. First is loneliness. Many elderly parents, they live alone while children work abroad or in other cities. Loneliness slowly becomes depression. So this really hurts. As a son of my parent, I have felt that, and you, whosoever is watching this, might have been feeling that. You just sit and think once. So let's together take steps to address this problem. Let us not leave our parents lonely, because it may create a greater problem, bigger problem for them. And many of the senior citizens, they also, because they are senior citizens, they are senior elderly people, there is a health anxiety will be there. What is health anxiety? That is fear of illness. So they fear, what if I fall ill? So who will come and help me if I fall ill, if I can't walk, right? Because their children are abroad. It is difficult for the children to come back to their native to support their parents, and even the it is difficult for their parents to go abroad and stay with them. This is this general issue, common issue of the society, right? So this fear of illness, fear of dependency. If something happens, who will serve us? Or being they feel being a burden, being a burden to their children sometimes. And that these feelings, fear of illness, dependency, or being a burden, emotionally drains them. Now, another issue our senior citizens, our elderly face, that is a loss of purpose. So everybody has purpose in life. So after retirement or children settling, what the senior citizens they will do, what our parents, what our father and mother they do, they feel unneeded. They feel that I am not needed anymore. You see, as a I mean, just if somebody is at my age, if I will feel I am not needed anymore, now whosoever is watching this live or watching this recorded lecture, just feel, just say a word to you, sentence to you, that I am not, close your eye and say, repeat this statement, I am not needed anymore. I am not needed anymore. And open your eyes. How do you feel now? I am doing the live here and I close my eye and I twice said this, and I am feeling very, very disappointed after opening my eyes. I feel like I am in a different world when I say I am not needed anymore. This is very difficult term to say, which deeply affects emotional well-being. So let me repeat the reverse of it now. Otherwise, I mean it will confuse my brain, because brain doesn't know the reality and what is the unreal thing. Let us. I'll close my eye and just reverse the gear of that. Yes, I am needed. I am useful. I am useful for this world. I will do everything for everybody. Thank you. So my brain knows. So this is a lighter note I am telling. I did not confuse my brain now, because I showed my brain what I am. So this kind of thing, retirement when happens, the children settling done, so the senior citizen they feel unneeded. that deeply affects their emotional well-being. So let us talk about these are the all the groups that I told. Now all the age groups, children, the teens. Now let's talk about the root causes of the mental health storm. Root causes. What are the reasons? Because I told now in this video, I will discuss about the awareness part and what are the causes. In the next video, next live session, I will definitely share and I will definitely discuss about what are the solutions. Now let us understand what is driving these issues. So number one is overstimulation of the brain. So how our brain is overstimulated, right? So our brain is constantly overloaded. How? Number one, just relate, listen and relate. Reels, reels, notifications in WhatsApp, in mail, then comparisons and content. Comparison with the society, with somebody else, with some successful people, and content that we consume from YouTube, from Facebook, from other social media, from news channels. So our brain is constantly overloaded by that. This overwhelms our nervous system and reduces emotional stability. Think of one example. Before going to the bed, if you watch nowadays, whatever going on in the world, the wars between two countries, the criminal activities, the news, what is going on, the problematic, problems in the society. So you are sleeping with consuming the content like crimes, murders, suicide, negative contents, and destructions, devastations. Then how your mind will feel in the sleep? Yes, you can go for a good sleep, but how you will feel that? Are not you emotionally unstable during the sleep? And when you wake up in the morning, if you watch the news channel immediately, or you scroll the social media or notifications or reels, again, same thing will happen. And your whole day, your brain will be emotionally drained, which is most needed thing to be addressed. So this is overstimulation. We are overstimulating our brain in these ways. Reels, notifications, comparisons, and content, wrong contents. Then number two, instant instant pleasure culture. Sorry. So what's happening? Everybody in this world, we in this society, we want instant relief. So entertainment, food, scrolling, validation from others, short-term pleasure like this one, entertainment, spicy foods, scrolling reels, and validation from others. So that short-term pleasures destroy our long-term emotional strength. So if I talk about this entertainment, food, scrolling, validation, how validation kills? You might relate this. If somebody says, you are looking good, we are happy. For the next time, what we do, to look more better, we put more efforts to that. But what is the use of that, you think? So no successful people, they seek validation from others. Let's do remember that. Any successful people you see in the world, they don't need validation. They don't need approval. They start on their own, they walk on their own, they wear on their own, they speak on their own with confidence. No validation. It will ease your life. It will give you easy life and you will have emotional strength. Now, number three, emotional suppression. So from childhood, we are taught not to express feelings. From childhood, we are not. So, emotional suppression, I will tell it again. From childhood, we are taught not to express our feelings. So, they are suppressed emotions. When we grow older, so they convert into panic, they convert into burnout, and they convert into breakdown. So, I discussed something about burnout, like in professionals. So, from where they came, so that actually starts in the childhood. So it needed to be addressed. So as we are habituated of not expressing our emotions, and people are, maybe in the family, maybe in the society, they are habituated of not addressing to the emotions. So this is happening in our older stage, later stage also. That's what happening. Now, comparison culture. So number four, comparison culture. So in our society, what is happening? There is a comparison culture going on. Everybody compares. But my dear friends, what is important for us? Let me ask you this question. You ask yourself, what is important for me? Say I am the best, right? Don't compare. Because suppose I talk about Instagram, it shows perfect lives. LinkedIn shows perfect success. And this leads to low self-worth. And we are feeling low and feeling left behind. Because, for example, if I give a real example, if I talk about LinkedIn, suppose, if I'm posting regular contents on the LinkedIn and it rarely people read this content and the impressions are not going very well, also, simultaneously, I see some of my colleague, maybe, or maybe some other person, successful person, they also post the same kind of niche or theme articles on LinkedIn, same regularity, same frequency, but their content goes viral, then I may feel low. So that is comparison actually. So that comparison will kill me. I will not compare. I will feel to that person to achieve that level might have tried a lot of things, lot of days, or what extra thing he is doing, what I need to do better. So this kind of thing will help me grow as that person. Rather, if I think like that, I am feeling very low, I am not worth, my self-worth will be down. So this will lead to a low self-worth and feeling left behind. And that will kill my growth. So I will not do that. So that comparison culture is there. Some people will compare, no problem, but you don't compare because people will not work for you. You will work for you. You will progress. People will not make you progress. You have to progress. So let's leave that. And then number five is isolation and loneliness. What is that? Lack of real human connection is there nowadays. And that increases emotional pain. WHO, World Health Organization, says isolation increases suicidal risk by 300%. It's a dangerous figure. Isolation, if you keep yourself isolated, if you are not expressing yourself and your emotions are not addressed, emotional, anything, your emotions are not addressed, then that is an isolation kind of thing and it will increase suicide risk by 300%. Another, number six, no emotional education. So nowadays, I just discussed, shortly before, we teach children mathematics. We teach our children grammars. We teach our children formula. But are we teaching our children confidence? Are we teaching our children resilience, emotional regulation? Are we teaching our children coping mechanism? No. Yes. Ask yourself. So they grow emotionally unprepared for real life difficulty. They prepared unprepared for real life battles, and they lose the battle. Most of the children, because I have given the statistics in the first half of this video, so they grow emotionally unprepared. They lose the real life battles. Adults also, they lose the real life battles also in many cases. You might have heard. So these are the things. These are the things. These are the regions. These are root causes. Overstimulation, instant pleasure culture, that is emotional suppression, comparison culture. What I talk about LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, right? Isolation and loneliness. That's a, I mean, dangerous issue, right? Burning issue, and no emotional education. So this is where all this part. First, I created awareness, and I gave some statistics, and the secondly, I gave the root causes of this emotional or mental health issues. So today we overall discussed, I am just summarizing it, why mental health issues are rising globally and the increasing suicide rates, and how people of all ages are affected, and the hidden root causes behind emotional breakdown. I discussed this one. And the part two, means next video, next live session, we'll go deeper into the present state of our modern mind and the desired emotional state where we want to go and what we want to achieve. Then practical mindset and habit shifts, how can do that, and how to build emotional resilience, and how to move from breakdown to balance. So hope this part two, next live session, will be extremely practical and transformational. So for this, I thank you, all of you, for attending this session and uh, and joining this session and finding your valuable time for me. And you all got aware about the mental health crisis of the world, of our country, of yourself, of your family. And let us start from today only to aware ourselves, to aware our children, to aware our society at least. Let us begin from us first, because charity begins at home. So let's begin from us, and with more details of the session 2 of live session about the solutions which I will discuss. Stay connected in my YouTube channel. Please subscribe so that you will get notification about the second live session or the solution. Now, I thank you a lot for attending this session and make this session